The incident with Maxim Moretz and his nephew Dieter Fellman had left Aya, Winterlich & Co. persona non grata within the city of Hunderkopf. Since then, Moretz had taken this a step further and put a bounty on each of their heads, with the news reaching every murderer, burglar, and train fare evader west of the Rhine. Even delivering a single member of the trio to Moretz was said to lead to a hefty reward, with the largest payout for delivering Colette guys, dead or alive, whole or in parts. Being that Moretz was an immensely well-connected man, news of the bounty travelled quickly. The downside of that, though, was that it also attracted the odd foolhardy huckster who thought they might be able to swindle him.
Please, please. Your nephew already made me pull out all my toenails. You've made your point.
Do I look like a fool to you, Mr. Lemburger?
No, Mr. Moretz.
Then please tell me why you insist on treating me like one.
I don't know. I guess I just thought...
Thought what?
I thought I might be able to skip town before you noticed.
Well then, you obviously don't know anything about me. Before the revolution... Before I opened the pawn shop, I was in the jewelry business. It's in my blood. My grandfather on my mother's side was Elmar Goldhirsch. He was the jeweler who made the necklace Duchess Amandine wore to her wedding. I grew up around precious stones, Mr. Lemburger. So you can see, given all that, why I'm so insulted that you thought I wouldn't know the difference between a Corascias crystal and some cheap blue-tinted glass.
My buddy Rolf made that. I thought it looked like a decent fake.
Decent? Don't make me laugh. It doesn't even glow. And even a child could tell that these brain and skull pieces are just ceramic shards stuck on with strawberry conserves. It smells like strawberries, Lemburger. Did you not smell it before you sent it to me?
No.
There! That's what it smells like. And when you see the conserves and the real blood next to each other, the difference couldn't be more obvious.
Please don't kill me, Mr. Moretz. Please, I'll do anything you want. Just let me go.
Here's some advice for the future you no longer have. Don't beg. It's unbecoming. I'm a reasonable man, Mr. Lemburger, so I'm going to look you in the eyes, give you a fair warning, a last drink, and a last cigarette. You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Moretz. Thank you.
That's more like it.
I will refrain from describing it for the sake of our more sensitive listeners, but I'm sure you can guess what happened next. In the years after the February Revolution, it was not uncommon to find buildings that had become abandoned and fallen into disrepair. Many of the upper class who were loyal to the monarchy fled the VSR for less socialist-inclined locales in Europe. Some of these homes came under the ownership of the new government, while others stayed owned by the monarchists, who maintained the hope that they would someday return and reclaim what was theirs.
Eisen, are you sure we're in the right place? This is a bit out of the way.
Oh, come on, Telesphore, don't you trust me to read a map?
It's not you I don't trust. I feel like I've seen the same tree 3 times already.
That's because they're trees. They all look the same.
Oh, it was the same tree. It was just moving.
Right, but we also haven't seen a street sign in a while.
Here, Colette, mind shining the light of your crystal over here, just so I can get a better look.
I do not appreciate being used as a glorified lamp.
And yet, what a wonderful lamp you are. Besides, you should be thrilled we've found a better use for your crystal. Besides murder.
Very funny. Now, are we done? My neck is cramping up.
Aye, we're definitely on the right road. Here, Take a left up there, and we should see the place come up on the right.
In the winter of 1911, Nikita Jane received a letter from the solicitor of Amelia Bernard, one of her childhood school teachers. Records show Nikita was an exemplary student during her time in Miss Bernard's class. However, the pair lost touch as Nikita grew up, and Miss Bernard eventually eloped to Luxembourg with her fiancé, Mr. Robert Wagner. Those familiar with pre-revolution Valor will recognize Wagner as being a descendant of the wealthy, monarchy-aligned Wagner family. The family had remained in the VSR for several years post-revolution, but they eventually made their way beyond its borders after getting accused of fraud.
Is it just me, or does this all look very haunted?
Colette, don't tell me you still believe in all that nonsense.
Hey, just because one medium turned out to be a fraud doesn't mean that ghosts can't be real.
Well, I think with a little fixing up, this will make a fine home for Nikita.
After the passing of her partner in October 1910, Amelia Bernard inherited all of his possessions, including his family home near the border of Switzerland. As the couple had no children, Amelia's will declared that her belongings would be split between 3 favorite students. It is estimated that she knew as many as 315 students over the course of her teaching career.
Can you imagine? All the nuns at St. Rita's ever gave me was detention.
What use would you have for a house anyway? If you stayed in one place, all anyone would need to do is look for your name and property records, and boom, you're found and sent to get that crystal removed from your head.
I meant eventually. It'd be nice to stay in one place all day.
Well, I don't know if you've noticed, Colette, but staying in one place has never historically worked out for us. There's always something running us out of town. Back me up here, big man.
Colette has a point. But if it's a choice between this house and the van, I choose the van.
You used to live in a castle.
In the staff quarters, Colette. I know what it takes to maintain places like these.
I can't believe it. I thought you, of anyone, would understand why someone might like this place. It's got a fancy gate, and I bet there's even a wine cellar.
Though the property has since been demolished and replaced by a fast casual Italian restaurant, the Wagner family home was once 2 stories tall, with a grey brick facade and a modest wine cellar in the basement. Census and tax documents indicate that while the home had historically belonged to the Wagner family, before the home was bequeathed to Nikita, the owner was one Anselm Adler. The name Anselm Adler appears on several other documents and is theorized to be either a distant relative of the Wagners or an alias used to prevent foreclosure by the government after the family's departure from the VSR.
Nikita did say we could have the first pick of anything nice from the house, since we are doing her a favour of checking it out.
I kind of feel bad about taking anything, though. It's her house now. Technically.
Sweetheart, it's not stealing if she's our friend and she's letting us do it.
Who has the key?
Nope.
Not me.
Did she not give us a key?
Much like many mail delivery services today, the postal service for the Valorian Socialist Republic was full of dedicated, passionate, and extremely overworked employees. As a result, it was not uncommon for packages to be delivered late, damaged, or to simply go missing. If a key was sent to Nikita Jane, she simply never received it.
Ah, well, who needs keys anyway?
Upon crossing the gate and opening the door to the house, Aya, Winterlich and Co. noticed 2 things.
Whoa!
The first was the sparkling chandelier at the entrance to the foyer. The second was several gunshots coming from an upstairs bedroom.
Looks like we have some friends playing fucking cowboys and Indians.
Well, let me check it out and report back. Do not do anything reckless.
Telesphore quietly teleported upstairs and tiptoed around the upper level until he found the source of the gunshots, a skinny young man surrounded by several dead Aeglian and several more flapping their wings around him. Much like their earthly cousin, the moth, Aeglian were drawn to fine fabrics, of which there were plenty in the master bedroom.
Let's go look around to see if anyone else is here.
Isn't splitting up a bit reckless?
I'm an artificer, and you've got a gem in your head that can fucking blow people up. What's reckless is us staying here like sitting ducks.
Though there is, in the present day, a large canon of horror films that show exactly why splitting up in an abandoned home is inadvisable, some believe this action could have allowed Colette and Eisen to avoid the events that followed. As the pair debated the benefits and drawbacks of staying together, they were too distracted to react quickly as a large care-site man teleported behind Colette and knocked her unconscious with a quick impact to the head. The shocking sight meant Eisen did not notice as a middle-aged woman slipped out from a nearby closet and performed a sleeping spell on him.
Oh, what the?
By the time Telesphore returned downstairs, Eisen was asleep and Colette was gone. On Eisen's body, Telesphore found a business card with slightly warped text, indicating it had recently been in contact with a good neighbor. The only intelligible word out of the scrambled text was the name Summerhill.
Eisen? Eisen! Where's Colette?
Oh, a guy popped in and knocked her out, and then something came behind me and... It's an ambush.
Would Nikita?
Nah, she wouldn't. I guess the house was too good to be true.
Official records from the law firm of Altweg & Sons show that there was indeed a home left to Nikita Jane by her former schoolteacher. It is theorized that as the letter made its way from the Altweg & Sons law firm in Crystal City to Nikita's home in Torreya, it may have been read or tampered with. Nevertheless, the memory of her friends getting attacked likely soured Nikita Jane on this residence, as there is no record of her living in the former Wagner family home.
Did you see anything upstairs?
We have another problem. There's someone with a gun in the master bedroom.
Well, I say we ask him some fucking questions to see where his friends took Colette.
As Eisen and Telesphore went upstairs, Colette found herself being woken up in the back seat of a van with her limbs restrained.
Hey, you alright, honey? How many fingers am I holding up?
Rather than attempt to count the woman's fingers, Colette tried breaking free of the restraints, to no avail.
Who are you? Where are you taking me?
Nuh-uh. I'll only answer you after you answer me.
2.
Okay, great. I told my husband to be careful with your head, but he doesn't always listen.
Not everyone knows body parts.
I don't care. How do you think it'll look if we bring her in concussed? I want us to look responsible.
Doesn't matter if she's concussed or not. All that matters is the gem in her head.
I apologize for my husband. He lacks, personal touch.
I've just answered your question. Can you please tell me what's happening?
I'm Amira, and this is my husband, Corascias. We're the Summerhills. No doubt you've heard of us.
Colette had not heard of them. Little is known about the lives of Corascias and Amira Summerhill before their run-in with Aya, Winterlich & Co., but there exists a marriage license for the pair dated in 1903, the same year in which several establishments in Vrossenwasser were hit with bank robbers. The perpetrators were never officially confirmed.
There's a lot of rumors swirling around and a lot of people looking for you, Colette. You've got 2 choices. We take you to Hundekopf, where we drop you off with Maxim Moretz and get paid handsomely, or Crystal City, where we drop you off with our government friend and also get paid handsomely.
Is there a third option where you let me go free and we never see each other again?
Not unless you're willing to use that power crystal in your head. You wouldn't risk that while you're bound and in a moving car.
I'll take Hundekopf, please.
Colette hoped there would be enough time for her friends to catch up to her before she ended up somewhere she didn't want to be. Back at the home, Eisen and Telesphore approached the young man Telesphore had seen earlier.
Who the fuck are you supposed to be?
Don't step any closer or I'll shoot.
Karl Bechdel was 24 years old, a dropout of St. Mark's School for Boys, and a self-proclaimed criminal not known for any significant criminal exploits. His name most commonly appears on police reports for pulling out his gun over trivial disputes such as a store not honoring his coupon. Despite his hair-trigger temper, he was known to be a talented shot, as evidenced by how his bullet grazed Telesphore's ear, spilling just a drop of purple blood, before embedding itself in the nearby wall.
That was a purposeful miss.
Okay, calm yourself down, kid.
Do not call me kid.
Then who are you, and what have you and your friends done with Colette?
You don't know who you're dealing with. The Summerhill gang's got her.
Scholars debate whether any Summerhill gang ever had a significant presence in the VSR. While there exist records of Corascias Summerhill, Amira Summerhill, and Karl Bechdel, no communications from other criminals of the era ever mention a Summerhill gang by name. The members of this so-called gang were only ever mentioned as individuals. Though some have argued that the members were so adept they went unnoticed even by those in their field, it is more likely that Corascias and Amira Summerhill lied to Karl Bechdel about their renown in order to gain his trust.
Have you ever heard of the, Summerhill gang, Telesphore?
I might have heard of a Corascias Summerhill.
Though Telesphore Winterlich had never come into contact with Corascias Summerhill directly, his association with the dumbwaiter fraternity meant he was often privy to gossip about people who yelled at service workers, one who requests to speak to managers as a form of power play, and the like. Indeed, for many members of the dumbwaiter fraternity, Corascias Summerhill's biggest crime was not breaking and entering, kidnapping, or theft, but the way he flirted with waitstaff and treated service workers like his personal servants.
You'll never catch up to him.
Kid, this is not the time for your delusions of grandeur. What did you and your gang do with our friend?
They're taking her to Maxim Moretz.
He's back in the country already?
Ah, fuck, we need to get to Hundekopf.
As Eisen and Telesphore rushed out of the room, Karl Bechdel followed them close behind.
Wait, take me with you.
Young man, I'm not sure I understand what you're asking.
Come on. They never told me when they'd be coming back, and I should probably be there once they receive their payout. You know, because of how much I helped.
It was at that moment Eisen and Telesphore realized the young man in front of them had been double-crossed.
You can even tie me up.
It's too much of a risk.
Oh, look at him. How dangerous can he be?
I just shot you and killed all these Eglion.
Perhaps if you let us take your weapon, you can come along.
Ah, you've got to keep better track of your bullets. You've only got one shot left.
One is all I need. Now are we going or what?
The three headed downstairs to the van, where they found the tires slashed.
Baby, what did they do to you?
It's all part of the plan. Mr. Summerhill was hiding out when you arrived, and when you went in, it was his job to slash your tires, then teleport inside to grab someone.
Were you the distraction?
Of course not. I was the lookout.
What's with the dead alien then?
Well, that room had the best view of the outside. I guess those things had the same idea.
Some notorious gang you lot are. Shoddy division of labour and didn't even account for the fact that I'm an artificer. Oh yeah, let's get our gun.
Vehicle registration records do not show a van of any sort belonging to either a Corascias or an Amira Summerhill. However, a clerk in Beaupont had reported his van being stolen by a couple the previous year. Regardless of what specific vehicle they rode in, it's an absolute fact that on the road to Hundekopf, Amira interrogated Colette about the Kingmaker diamond.
So, I've always wondered, how does it feel to use that thing? Does it hurt?
Kind of. Not the blowing up part. That's something else. But it just being in my head gives me crazy migraines sometimes. You wouldn't believe the amount of wizard oil I can go through.
You wouldn't believe the amount of wizard oil my wife goes through during some of her monthlies. Ow!
Among the many reasons Corascias Summerhill was disliked by the dumbwaiter fraternity was his attitude toward its female members.
Are you serious right now?
Come on, sweetie, you can't take a joke.
Look out!
As the couple began to argue, Corascias let go of the wheel to point at his wife, and the car swerved roughly to the right. It began barreling down towards a surfen on the middle of the empty road. Just as the car was about to make contact, the creature flapped its wings and flew away, quick enough to never touch the car. The near hit shocked the kidnappers back into focus, and Corascias grabbed the wheel, righting the car.
This is so like you. Nearly crashed the car and killed that perfectly innocent animal.
I scratched the car a few times, and you think I'm a bad driver.
I just think that someone who is 435 years old should know that they need to look at the road while they're driving.
The automobile's only been invented for 5 years. Most people don't know how to drive.
In fact, the modern automobile is agreed to have been invented on the 29th of January 1886 by Karl Benz of Germany. However, the first automobile powered by internal combustion was designed by François Isaac de Rivaz of France in 1808. Nevertheless, the origin of the modern car was on nobody's mind at the moment, as Corascias was using hyperbole to win an argument, and Colette was coming up with an idea that was either extremely stupid or incredibly brilliant. The only way to tell, of course, was to put it into action.
You know what? It's fine. It's fine. Let's just be quiet for the rest of the drive.
You know, I know a thing or two about criminal partners. Maybe I could help solve whatever this is.
Oh, please.
I'm serious. I'm no Telesphore when it comes to this stuff, but I feel like I can do something.
Let her speak. It's a long way to Hundekopf. What else are we going to do?
Fine.
Okay, if there's one thing I know about partnerships, it's that if two people really care about one another, they'll listen. Amira, how does your husband make you feel?
He never listens to me. I told you we shouldn't have hired that gun-happy loser Karl, but you insisted. That buffoon's inability to control himself nearly gave us away. It's a miracle things came together as well as they did.
The priority was always Colette. We achieved it. Let's take the wins where we could get them.
We could have gotten all three of them if you trusted me.
I think she has a point. From my perspective, it doesn't really seem like you really respect her.
Oh, is everyone ganging up on me now?
Once again, at the first sign of provocation, Corascias took his hands off the wheel. Yet this time, instead of calling out a warning, Colette braced for impact. The vehicle ran off the road, crashing into a tree and forcing a flock of birds who had taken up residence in its branches to quickly leave to find elsewhere to perch. The impact of the crash shattered the front window and knocked out Corascias, and his wife was barely conscious. Colette had avoided the worst of it and managed to stay lucid enough to look around for a shard of glass big enough to hold and sharp enough to cut her restraints.
Bingo!
Meanwhile, Eisen and Telesphore found themselves dealing with their own car trouble as they sped along the road to Hundekopf.
Will you quit tapping your foot, or I will stick it up your arse? Do you understand?
I'm bored. I can't help it.
Well, the noise is annoying, and at least one of us should be having a nice drive.
Perhaps a distraction would help. Mr. Bechtel, tell us, how did you become such a good shot?
Oh, I'd love to hear this one.
It's easy. All I do before pulling the trigger is take a deep breath and tell myself that everything I do is the right thing.
And that works.
Yeah, so far.
That's pure Mantelope bollocks, by the way. You know what happens when you tell yourself that everything you do is right? You mess up, and then you improvise. I tell myself I'm right and I get things wrong every day.
Well, maybe that works for you. But you can't exactly improvise when you have a gun in your hand. Okay, I'm bored again. What's next?
I'm driving as fast as I can. If you'd like to be helpful, please tell me if you see their car anywhere.
Man, you know what? I never thought I'd miss Colette so much.
What's the big deal about her anyway? No one ever tells me anything.
It's a long story.
She's just some girl, right? You can find them anywhere. There's one waving her arms right up the road.
Indeed, 5 minutes' drive up the road stood Colette. At her feet were Corascias and Amira Summerhill, whom Colette had pulled out of the wreckage.
Oh, Colette, you have no idea how glad we are to see you.
Oh, same here. You and Eisen are the only couple I ever need to go on a road trip with. Wait, who's that?
Him. He's a nobody.
Hey,
Oh, come on, pal. You've served your purpose. Time for you to get back to your own gang. Get in, Colette.
Come on, it's not like we can leave them here. We're in the middle of nowhere.
They are employed by Maxim Moretz. I think we can leave them here. Now let's go.
Oh, good. The cavalry's here.
And we were just about to leave. Let's go.
Not so fast. I have a proposition for everyone here. See, Maxim Moretz wants you all dead or alive, and we're not going to be the last ones coming after you. So how about you each let me cut off a finger, or maybe a hand, I heal it right up with my magic, and you go on your merry way. I show Maxim Moretz this proof I killed all of you, and both our problems will be solved, at least for a little while.
No deal, lady. I can tell by the scar on your right hand that you're some sort of self-taught flesh crafter, and there's no way I'm letting you touch me again.
Ugh, you university-taught mages are so arrogant. It takes a lot of effort and intelligence to teach yourself any sort of magic, and you walk around all high and mighty thinking that you own it all.
As they argued, Telesphore teleported over to examine the unconscious body of Corascias Summerhill. The man looked like an average care site individual. Tall, glowing eyes, purple blood. Spilling out of Corascias' jacket pocket, Telesphore saw a stack of business cards, or possibly calling cards, similar to the ones he'd seen earlier. To Telesphore, all signs pointed to Corascias being someone who put a significant amount of stock in his family name. In short, Telesphore decided Corascias was not someone he needed to get along with.
Look, sweetheart, it's nothing personal. I've just met my fair share of flesh crafters, and I know what good work looks like.
Huh? Then why was it so easy to put you to sleep, you pompous, absolute jerk-ass motherfucker?
While everyone was distracted by the mages arguing, Karl Bechdel had wriggled free of his restraints and grabbed his gun from where Eisen had stashed it in the van's glove compartment. He fired off a quick shot at Amira Summerhill, clipping her pinky finger off.
Ow! What the hell was that for?
that was for being mean to my new friend. And for leaving me behind. Go! I'll hold her off.
Though nobody understood exactly why Karl Bechdel decided to sacrifice himself for them, Eisen, Telesphore, and Colette did as he wished, shuffled into their van, and drove off into the night.
Oh my god, I think I ruined a marriage today.
Truly, Colette, how bad could it have been?
I manipulated them into crashing a car back. Stop! It's not funny!
No, it's amazing. I say this calls for a celebration.
Next time we're somewhere nobody knows us, we're grabbing drinks.
I don't know, it just feels icky.
As someone who's ruined my fair share of relationships, I assure you, Hen, whatever it is you did, you probably just sped up whatever was already about to happen.
Maybe. What was that about back there anyways? That guy calling you two his friends?
We are definitely not fucking friends.
All we did was tell him that his people had left him behind, and he made his own choices.
Honestly, maybe we could have just used him as part of the team. His arm's a lot more precise than your crystal, and maybe just as deadly.
Don't joke about that.
Meanwhile, Amira Summerhill managed to shoddily heal herself and her husband. They then waited for a car to pass by, flagged it down, and wrestled control of it from the driver, who was never seen or heard from again. As for Karl, Amira offered him a chance to rejoin her and her husband in tracking down Aya, Winterlich and co., but he declined, preferring to wait for his own ride. He would end up waiting for 3 hours for another vehicle to pass by on the little-used road.
Hey, guys, we've got a problem.
The Summerhills caught up to Aya, Winterlich and co. Upon being alerted by Colette, Telesphore stomped on the gas pedal, speeding away. Unfortunately, Corascias and Amira sped up in turn, eventually passing Aya, Winterlich and co.'s van and thoroughly cutting them off. Now in front, Corascias Summerhill slammed the brakes of his stolen vehicle, and in response, Telesphore stomped on the brakes of his own van to avoid a crash.
I wouldn't try reversing and going back in the other direction. My husband's a reckless driver, but he's fast, and we will find you! Now here's how I see this going. You give us a few limbs and we'll leave you alone. Hell, if nobody wants to lose a hand, we'll take sweet Miss Colette and let the cute couple have their criminal honeymoon.
Take the deal, Wintelich. You can always just get another one. What's one little human life in the grand scheme of things?
Would you stop being such a cliché?
I have a crazy idea.
Are you sure?
No, but I'm never sure about anything.
Hey, Colette, just tell yourself this. Everything you do is the right thing.
Wow, Eisen. I never thought I'd hear that from you.
And you never will again if you don't get a move on.
Way to be supportive.
As Colette walked toward her passenger side door, Amira Summerhill poked her head out of the window.
Can't believe how easily your friends gave you up.
What can I say? They know a good deal when they see it.
You know what? I like you. What do you say we forget this whole turning you over to Maxim Moretz thing, and you come run with us? I promise to treat you better than we treated that Karl kid. I swear on my honor, as a woman.
Whoa. This is not the plan.
Plans change. Come on, with that thing in her head, she's a real asset.
No, thank you.
You can't keep doing this in front of me, Amira. At least pick someone nicer to look at.
I don't like the way you talk about your wife. I really don't like the way you talk about people in general. I've dealt with my fair share of jackasses in my life, and you are by far one of the worst. You're a pig, and you are not in any way worthy of being called a good neighbor.
Sweetie, if I wanted your opinion, I would have...
Ah! What did you do?
Oh. Something I'll think about for the rest of my life, probably.
And here I heard you didn't know how to aim.
I've been practicing. You know, I meant what I said. I won't repeat it, though, out of respect for the dead.
Well, I loved him. He's from a different world. You can't expect everyone to get it.
Eisen and Telesphore are from different worlds, and they don't act like that.
You really trust them, don't you?
They're my friends.
I'll have to ruin your life for killing Corascias. And then I'll kill Eisen slowly because he insulted me. And after that's done, I'll spare Telesphore. He hasn't wronged me. Yet. But before that, you can all have a head start. Is 10 minutes enough? 9:59, 9:58.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
9:56, 9:55, 9:54.
So excited she forgot to say goodbye, Colette walked back over to her van.
So, what happened?
She said she'll give us a 10-minute head start before she kills us, so we gotta go.
Is it strange a part of me wants to go back to the house? We never did examine the wine cellar.
Do we have money for alcohol?
Money? You having a fucking laugh? Of course we don't.
Off to Nikita's house we go!
Aya, Winterlich and co. drove off into the night, making a quick pit stop at the former Wagner residence to raid the wine cellar. As for Amira, no record of an Amira Summerhill exists after that night. However, an Amira bloodstone did take up residence in Hundekopf after these events. There is no knowledge of Amira bloodstone crossing paths with Maxim Moretz, though whether this is coincidental or purposeful, historians are unsure.
The Kingmaker Histories is a production of We Are Not Alive. This episode was written by Antonia and audio engineered by Meg Malloy-Tuton, with executive production by Henry Galley and Ashlee Craft, and Foley design by Jam Wright. Our theme was written and performed by Professor Shy Guy. A full list of other music used can be found in the show notes, as can our social media links. This episode featured, in order of appearance, David Ault as the Historian, Graham Rowat as Moretz, Taqi Nazeer as Eisen, Josh Rubino as Telesphore, Blythe Renay as Colette, Sneha Kumar as Amira, Jake Parr as Corascias, and Ashlee Craft as Karl. If you'd like to support the show, go to patreon.com/KingmakerCast. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.